Hello, this is Stefan with Nitrocodon Dynamics, and I'm just kind of giving you a preview of something a little bit different. I know I'm trying to push my game that I'm making, but this is a project I've been working on a little bit longer. It's actually a trading bot, and it is called Nitrocodon Dynamics Retro Signal. And what this is a purely autonomous trading bot. It does not need any AI to run it. It doesn't use API keys or anything. It was made with AI, specifically around using Alpaca. This is just a trading company where you can, a brokerage where you can put trades on cryptocurrency and other futures. And then I also have it linked up to Massive, which is just tick data. So where you would have these charts here, this is 5-minute ticks only with Alpaca. This can go down to 30 seconds. That way you have more of a real-time view. So what the program is, it's actually layered into uh, I guess different compartments. So when you first start it up, and I'll give you a preview of what it looks like and how it works here too, rather than just talking about it. But basically, what it is you have what I call the lake. So I know this is going to be horrible spelling here, so we'll have lake. And what this is 2.5 years of tick data. So basically, I chose about 30 coins based off of, okay, are they pump and dumps? Are they not? And then it takes data like this. Massive, you can export like I think up to 10 years of the bar data. And so what I did is I took all 30 of those coins and I created 2.5 years worth of their data just to kind of track, like, I guess what they do, what they have done in that time period. So I can look back at any point in time and see how those markets were working at any point within those 2.5 years. So that feeds into a layer that I call the Oracle. So the point of the Oracle layer is it looks at, so I'll draw a little eyeball, it looks at those 2.5 years and it cherry picks the I don't know, I'm drawing it out like this. I'm just having some fun. But it cherry picks wins. So there's kind of a Python script that looks at anytime it goes um above 1% gains at any given point in a day. And it looks at those to see how many there are in a day for that coin. And then it kind of splits them up into um, all 30 coins. It looks at all 30 coins over 2.5 years, looks at every single time they went above 1% over a given period of time. And it goes from like 2 hour, like 30 minutes to 2 hours to 4 hours to I think up to 3 days. It'll look at these kinds of gains and drops. Um, and then you'll also have like timing. So it's looking at, like, if you had some data right here, right? Here's like some bar data that you're looking at. So if you got in right here, you're doing good. But if you got in right here, that may not be, 1%. That's probably going to be a less than 1% gain. So it's looking at the timing of when you enter into these charts, and then it's kind of hand picking what those trends look like. So that's what Oracle is doing. It's identifying those good trends, and it also identifies the bad trends. So it's looking at, this is what it looks like when it's bad, right? And then this is also it sees things like this. And this is the hardest part. This is kind of what I recently got it to do, is to identify when there's a knife and it's not a good one, and it's not going to rebound anytime soon, because anytime, like, you want it to buy in on a dip. So if it's buying in at any point in time here, it's those aren't good. So it's looking at all these trends and then looking at it as it falls. So that's the oracle. And then the next part is basically the matcher. So I call mine nom. I'll get more into that here in a second. So the matcher is basically looking at this oracle data that's been trained on the lake, and it's matching it. So whenever we have the signal, we'll put the signal here. So the signal technically comes first. This is like what actually the program is, right? When you first launch it, it's going to look at the data for the past like 3 days, and it looks at it currently, and it signals, is this good? Right. So if it thinks it has a good buy-in, that feeds back to the nom. And then the matcher basically says, okay, does this oracle data, does it look like what I've been trained on? Is it good or is it bad? This is pretty much, this is like its memory, and then this is its reasoning, right? So it's saying we've trained on cherry picked data to know what looks good or not, and then now the brain fires up, and it's going to say, does what is right now what's happening in the market look like what I know to have existed in the past? Does it match any trend that we know of? And then it fires back, and then it says, okay, it's either good or bad. And then if it's good, then it buys in. Boom. And then that's where you'll have, then you'll have a buy and sell take place. So far I've gotten it to, roughly around like 49.1% accuracy, but that's with fees. So the biggest part of why this hasn't really taken off is really broker fees, because sure, you can land 1% gains like almost multiple times a day super easy, but the fees can be up to 1% in some cases depending. So you're kind of either at a loss, or if it doesn't exceed what you need it to, or you're just going to be making such minimal gains that it doesn't really even matter, and it's not offsetting any losses. So when there are no fees in it, it can have roughly around like a 70% success rate. So it's extremely accurate, especially for crypto. That's crazy. Just day trading crypto. But I can kind of load it up here real fast. This is basically the bot, and yeah, it takes a little bit. I haven't fired it up in a while, so that took a little bit longer than what it takes usually to run. And then it backfills about 4,500 minutes of bar data. So it says 4,500 bars, but those are 1 minute bars. So it loads that up, and then that's what it starts to look at whenever it is making the the guess of whether it should buy in or not. Um, and then it does pull from massive, but it will, if sometimes this happens where massive can only fill up so much within a period of time, because it says it's unlimited data, but it's really not. It actually has like a cooldown period. So if you ping it so many times, even though it says it's unlimited, it will push back and say that it needs to, um, that it, yeah, that it's on a cooldown, and then so it will backfill that data from Alpaca afterward. But eventually, it will catch back up, and usually going forward, it's gonna fill that in with the massive data going forward, though. So basically, what this has done is it's just looked at all the different coins that we're looking at, and then it says if we should buy and trade them. And pretty much it said no to everything. That's one thing I've been working on. I've changed some things up, and it doesn't like buying anything. But you can see here from the history, I mean, I've just had an insane amount of buy and sells on multiple accounts. So I have like three paper accounts that I've been testing it on. Um, there's good days, there's bad days, but overall, it's pretty good. Um, but this is what NOM is. So the brain, right? If you're interested in that, it's called the Negentropic Analog Matcher, and it just goes through. I say that this is probably one of the most dynamic matchers that has ever existed. I'm highly confident in it. It really is like a six-piece matcher. So it's not just like one algorithm. I know a lot of people out there are just like, oh, it's this is the Markov 2.0. So although the Markov kind of algorithms are kind of spliced into there, that's actually more on the signal gate side. Um, this just pretty much uses some of like the best predictive mathematics that we have to kind of look at that lake data and then the oracle data, the cherry pick data, and then just to see, hey, does this look like something we can use? And then, but it's also kind of more dynamic and like it's looking at it from a negentropic standpoint of, you put money into the system, it can grow, right? Because you get that money back and then you have an growth on it. So that's what makes it negentropic, because at the end of the day, you do want it to gain. So anytime that there is a potential loss, it has to calculate the probability of if this is going to be a loss, is it worth it at the end of the day? Uh, Assuming that there's potentially even more chances for bigger gains to be had in the day. So it's not just like this one, like, oh, does this look like that? It's not really doing that. It is doing that, but it's also doing a lot more behind the scenes to kind of go, hey, is this even worth it on a broader level? What is the full market doing? What is each coin doing? Um, and it's kind of taking on those calculations. And yeah, I'm just kind of going back and forth with some of the parameters on it. Sometimes it's really good. I think in a crashing market has been its Achilles heel, and that's something that I'm working on still. As it doesn't really do well in a nosedive economy, like in those weeks or days where the whole crypto market just tanks. It just keeps buying in, thinking that there's going to be some kind of tail end it can coast up on, but that usually doesn't happen. So I'm getting it better and training it to recognize those. But I don't know if you're interested in these kind of trading bots. I'm always welcome to discuss the theories behind mine. Always open to new ideas and talking about it. But either way, thank you for checking out my channel if you stay this long, and I will see you in another video.